Writer William James once said, "Three things in human life are important. The first is to be kind. The second is to be kind. The third is to be kind." Kindness is one of those easier said than done virtues. It's a classic virtue that most might claim to aspire towards, but perhaps not right now in the grocery store with the person without a mask going the wrong way down the aisle. It's really hard to be kind, to extend empathy to other people, to act with compassion when confronted in the moment with thoughtlessness, arrogance, cruelty, and all the ways humans are difficult with one another. Hundreds of years ago, Buddhist farmers in Tibet would carry bags of pebbles, some light, some dark, around with them. When they thought well of others or helped someone, they would put a light-colored pebble in their pocket. And when they spoke cruelly or thought badly about another person, they would put a dark-colored pebble in their pocket. And every night they would turn out their pockets, and usually the dark pebbles outnumbered the light. And I'd say that's probably true for most people these days. The dark pebbles outnumber the light. We all struggle with our interactions with others. And it's really not surprising, because this culture, we don't value kindness as much as we like to think we do. TV host Ellen may tell us all to be kind, but really look at who succeeds. Heroes in movies aren't kind. They're risk-taking, tough, arrogant, and difficult. And CEOs and politicians do not get much support for being kind. They succeed by being bold, strong-willed, ambitious. We really don't live in a society based in kindness. Our systems are shaped by economic norms, financial profits, and a focus on productivity, growth, and competition. It's so rare that acts of kindness often become national news, which turns kindness into a kind of unicorn, a mythical beast only seen by the pure. Unicorn kindness is that kindness that is effortless when conditions are right, when we are stress-free, content, have all the time we need, and an abundance of resources. And I think for most of us, thinking about kindness as unicorn kindness can either be a comfort. That nirvana of a stress-free life isn't anything like my real life, so I really don't need to consider kindness. Or it can be a source of guilt for those of us who don't live up to that mythical beast, but feel like we really should. Unicorn kindness doesn't help us live as our imperfect selves with our imperfect lives in this imperfect society. And I think kindness is more than just a virtue to be aspired to when the conditions are right. I believe kindness is essential to being Unitarian Universalist, that it serves as the base for meaning making for our imperfect selves with imperfect lives in imperfect societies. Buddhist teacher Sharon Salzberg says, kindness can be a thread of meaning throughout our lives as we learn to be strong and still be kind, be smart and still be kind, be profoundly kind to ourselves, and at the same time strongly dedicated to kindness for those around us. I believe that kindness is a thread of meaning essential for guiding the people of the chalice through all the struggles and the joys of living, through this time of confusion and isolation. We can learn kindness. We can set our intentions towards being kind. And if we practice this, if we make that intention, we will come to find we have days where the light-colored pebbles outnumber the dark pebbles in our pockets. Kindness can be a thread of meaning as we navigate this world with shifting rules and uncertain outcomes. We don't know yet how to manage this pandemic risk. No one does, and we don't know when or how or sometimes even why restrictions will be lifted. Every necessary errand takes twice as long, wearing masks, waiting in lines, monitoring where others are. And we still can't get our haircut. Some of us have been alone for a very long time now. And we are all living with some level of fear and stress and concern and frustration and irritation and anxiety about what the future will bring. So go ahead, be kind. It's hard. These difficult times. And that in the end is what makes kindness even more necessary, because we know we are all in some way struggling. We're all in this together. And as people of the chalice, kindness is the lived expression of principles we hold so dear. It is compassion in action. Kindness roots us in our first principle, in which we affirm the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Acts of kindness towards others demonstrate that we remember they have value and worth outside of any moment, any relationship, any interaction. Each person has intrinsic worth and personal dignity. Everyone. No exceptions for politicians. I told you it was tough. Our ability to extend kindness to others is our affirmation of their worth and dignity. And kindness as well roots us in our seventh principle, that other fundamental principle, the understanding and recognition of our interdependence. We are so deeply connected to all other life on earth. We are all in this together. And I think of this kindness, the kindness that requires us to dig deep and take a deep breath and not say what we really wanted to say, and instead just take a moment. I think of this as dandelion kindness. If any of you have seen any patch of grass this past week, you know that dandelions are tenacious. Mow them down and they spring back up. Their roots go down, deep down, and you can rip out the stems, you can tear off the leaves, and with some time, the dandelion will once more bloom a cheerful yellow. Dandelion kindness, kindness that wells up in the face of all challenges, is what we need. And this doesn't mean we're going to be kind all the time in every moment, no unicorns here, but it means we return again and again to kindness as our baseline, as that thread of meaning that matters. We're living in a world-shattering moment. We're being mowed down weekly by the impact of this shutdown. We're going to feel flattened and unkind. And so we need that tenacious, resilient dandelion kindness more than ever. Kindness can be a thread of meaning in our lives that roots us deep down in the good earth of our principles, that expresses itself in bright, blossoming, compassionate acts. Imagine a city where kindness grew as easily as dandelions in the local park, where we care for those in the community who are most vulnerable, where we invest in healthcare and education and the arts, where everyone has income and housing, where no one goes hungry. My great hope, and perhaps it is yours too, is that post-pandemic, as we move into a new world, we find a way to make kindness fundamental to the economy and society. Imagine what a world like that could be. 3 things in human life are important. The first is to be kind. The second is to be kind. The third is to be kind. May we all find our way to dandelion kindness, tenacious, resilient, and deeply rooted in our principles. So say we all.